All right, we're on. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our third part of our goal setting webinar series, proudly brought to you by the International Day Trading Academy. And we've got myself, Cameron Buchanan. And for those people who don't know myself, any of the people who are not members and have been invited by any guests or any of our members, welcome. I'm one of the owners of the International Day Trading Academy, one of the founders, along with Lachlan Ellsworth and Kelly Lowry. And we've got Kel here as well. Hey, Kel.
Hi, guys. Great to be here tonight. Looking forward to sharing some of our wisdom, especially in a massive time of change and quite an uncertain, I think, cycle that we're going through right now. So Cam and I are going to, share some of our knowledge and tips of how to support you around your goal setting tonight. So looking forward to it. Thanks for all showing up.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great turnout tonight. So
awesome.
It just shows how important people value these sessions we do, and hopefully you'll receive awesome learnings out of it, and just some really just great reflection on things that you could be doing during this time. All right. So, and we're really proud of these goal setting programs because I know, being an educator myself and, being a, going through school, university, that's one of the things we never learnt was goal setting.
I know. It was having our attention on something else, living life deliberately.
That's right.
I agree.
And it's incredible how lacking it is in education curriculums, and I know we've found great success out of having goal setting sessions, not only just for our members but for ourselves and for our family as well. And it's quite amazing when you look back and you set those goals. You sometimes, when you do those bigger, bodacious goals, you don't know when they're going to appear, but then all of a sudden they show up, and it's like, I remember saying that.
Yes, yeah. Or writing them down and saying them every day, like the importance of routine and consistency. And our children and their partners and now their friends actually do goal setting with us as well. We review it, of course, a few times a year.
Yeah.
And they're quite excited about the possibility of sitting down and setting their goals, because they know once they set them, they're in momentum.
Yeah.
And they're going to come to manifestation.
And it's great to sit down and have that quiet time with the family and with your kids. Like, if anyone who's still got kids at home, taking the time every quarterly or every half year, make it special, make it a ritual. Even, I know if you saw the first webinar, by the way, all these webinars are recorded and saved in our members area. So I remember the first one we did, we talked about how, what did you need to let go of so that you can move forward. So that's a really good way to start the process with your kids. It's like, well, what things do you need to let go of? Are there any friends that, you think are so-called friends, or people that might be just sucking off you and sucking all your energy and calling you names or things like that? Do you need them in your life? That type of thing.
And then we talk about like forgiveness, and it's and usually, no matter how old your children are or us as adults, a time, we create opportunities in life to be able to look at ourselves and look at how we can let it go and surrender, because it is going to be the way it's going to be. So how we teach our children, they're growing up now and they're still doing the goal setting ritual regularly, is to first of all have a look in your life and take some quiet time out and have a look in your life about, where you've come from, where you want to go, and what's stopping you from getting there. Because often you have to make space and let go of some of the old in order to fill it up with something new. So what we do is we give what we call a forgiveness ritual time to our goal setting, and we all write down what we have to let go of, who we have to forgive, and then we burn it. and it's the kids love it. And then they feel excited because they know in their being that is absolutely gone, and now there's space to create. But if you're feeling full, overwhelmed, not very happy, sounding more negative than positive with yourself and your life, not sure and uncertain of your future, then that would be a great process for you to do before you get into starting new creative goals.
Absolutely.
So just on that note too, for the people that we've had enormous amount of members join us in the last few months. If you were not on the first 2 goal setting sessions, they are in your members area. Tonight is part 3. So there is a part 1 and there is a part 2, part 3 and a part 4. So and then of course we bring everything together in our masterpiece in December before we all complete for a festival season. So if you're just joining us right now, this is perfect. Let's go through this session, but please go back and check the other part 1 and part 2 sessions.
Yeah. And also too, with the whole process or structure of creating goals, like the intention of that series is that we sent you some documentation, or there's some Word documents that you can download in there that gives you your annual goals. You can break it down to 90-day goals, and then you can break it down to those 30-day goals. And then within that, you've got your micro goals or your weekly goals within that. So you've got that documentation also that you can download that's in that in the members area also. The
working sheets. That will keep you accountable. And again, in times of uncertainty, and I can assure you there's things of, there's creation of change that's occurred. And I don't think it's going back to normality anytime soon. I don't even remember what normality was. However, what you need to do in times like this is stay quite disciplined and focus and stay in your routine. A very important part of process of moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and remember, the process is a full loop. It's like a full feedback loop. So you do the process. You go through the accountability. If you've got a buddy or a partner or a trading buddy that you want to do this with, all the better. Then you look at the achievements. You review, obviously, how often you want to, whether it's on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. We like, reviewing things quarterly just to be in alignment with the financial timetable. Then obviously you can then reflect on the growth. What have you learned from the experience? And then there's the feedback loop of the reward, the celebration, the gratification, or the gratitude, and all those sorts of wonderful rituals you can do at the end of the whole process. So you get the full experience of the loop. So,
and it's really important to have that reward, Cam, and have that point of celebration, because otherwise it feels like it's all hard work.
What's the point?
And what are you shooting towards? And if you fall off your goals and your discipline around them and your regular routine around striving for your goals, then every day is a new day. As you wake up the next day, and it's, instead of blaming yourself, it's like, oh, I forgot about my goals in the last week or 2, or whatever's going on, or my life's full right now. Just get back on your goals the next day. Every day is a new beginning. And at that point you can go, it's quite interesting, because even if you've lost a period of time, if you get back on your cycle, you can actually quicken up the experience and bring the goal to fruition as soon as you're into action. Reward, if you don't have a reward's an important part of the process, because again, it will keep you on your goals and disciplined to do so and see them all the way through, because you know what you're getting at the end.
Yeah, you can have some fun with it.
Oh, we have some fun.
Absolutely. So guys, the review of part 1, we basically set up the structure of the system. So you should have had your worksheets by then downloaded. Does anyone still have their worksheets? And if anyone's still working off them, has anyone out there got them in front of them today? Because it might be a great night to take some time to review some of the goals. And that's what we might do at the end as well, is actually lock some of the learnings in and reflect and think about, what goals would you like to achieve, in the next week, setting up some nice micro goals. So if you don't have the action sheets, that's okay. We've got some templates in our slides as well that you can copy from. Also, too, when we're doing goal setting, it's good to break your life up into the certain categories as well. So obviously career, which some of us may have been affected career-wise over the last 3 months. Your financial situation as well may have been affected also. So you may have to regroup with some of those goals. Fitness, sport, recreation, particularly coming into the winter months, sometimes we can drop off our fitness, or our sporting routines can slow down. Health, always a good time to look within, what's in terms of our health, what's maybe suffering or what needs a bit more support.
And seasonal as well. Health's kind of seasonal, like you said. If it's winter time, then most people really need to be looking at like more warming type foods and internal for your internal digestion.
Soups.
So yes, soups, weighted food, warm drinks, stewed foods. So when you're looking at health, it's not just health as a big concept. It's like, oh well, maybe I could actually change and be kinder, more nurturing to my system, because it is colder outside, and underlying with an interesting time with COVID roaming around as well. It's just like really look to nurture self in this time.
And are there any goals you want to create with relationships, friends and family and social? And I think this time right now, that's one thing we've noticed in some of the feedback we've received from friends and just talking to people in general and our members. It's like, wow, it's really forced people to connect more, and they're really enjoying their connection.
And even if it's on Zoom, we're finding we've run some programs ourselves that usually we would have had our members in the room. The feedback has been more connection because everyone's slowed down, and it's like we're listening deeper and connecting better, and we're taking the time because we've got the time, so life's not so full. But relationships also important part of that process and expansion is when you said before, like letting go of past ties. If you've had former relationships or upsets with others, it's a new time. I mean, we're into a new financial year right now. We've just tipped over into that area. We're actually taking our whole companies, all our companies, Beyond Capital and IDTA, out to lunch tomorrow to celebrate. So, it was a huge year for us. And so that's building our relationships in that place. And we're going to go through a little bit of this tomorrow with our team. So, and spirituality, connection. What are you doing from a community perspective, from a connection perspective, with the slowdown occurring? Are you still keeping up this, some soul work for self?
Absolutely.
Balance is a really important part, guys. It's so simple, to keep up a great balance. But our huge success is all about having a balanced life wheel, having some fun, laughing often, which we do. Remembering, remembering to do our finances and keep moving forward, remembering how much we're giving back and how much how important it is for us to contribute. That's important to our family, to our children, to our friends, and to our community. Love, really remembering to be in our heart space. Trading is an important part of this whole process. If you can get all of those things I just said sorted, your career and trading is going to go through the roof, which is going to also have a beneficial effect on your health.
Yeah, definitely. And, this is a wonderful time to, we talk about relationships. Like goal setting is really relationships with yourself. It's you really start to get deeper with, what you want. So you're finding out a stronger relationship with yourself, and you're building, you're connecting with what you want. And this is the time where you can really start the creation of what you want to do.
And unity with self, it's a time where you take to be daring enough to honor yourself, of value, and that you're worth putting the injection and time in to setting your goals.
Yeah, so true. So
these click through those pretty quick.
So these are the templates, guys, that you would have received. So obviously these are the annual goals. You've got the macro goals here, monthly goals, and then obviously accountability section, and then a reward for each of those goals.
And that can be a partner or a buddy. Some of our traders have buddies. And as you see the rewards there, but the date is an important part of the process. If you don't set down a date and you're not clear about that process, and your subliminal mind actually locks that date in, that will keep you on par.
Yeah.
So it will keep you driving forward towards the date to meet your goal.
Yeah. But also too, sometimes with those larger, bigger picture goals as well, sometimes you might not have it could be a little bit on the looser side.
View, you and I, we're very different personalities.
Because I just know from my experience, I know I've had some really big goals that I made when I was younger, and they're only starting to come now. And it's like,
yeah, probably because you didn't put a date on them.
Yeah, I know. I know, that's why. But they're still happening, right?
They still happen. But I mean, Cam and I are different personality types.
I wasn't ready back then either,
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't know you then. But what I will say, and the joy of us, is we're always sharing how we view different aspects of success. My success has been, if I set a macro goal and I write 12 months and it doesn't come to fruition, it was more of a 3-year goal. At the end of 12 months or going into 12 months, I sort of review it, and I think that was a way bigger goal than I could probably reach. So or it might be that the goal was for somebody else and not even me. So there's those conversations you need to have with yourself where you go, you know what, I'm going to give myself another year to set myself up for success, not failure. But I do believe that it's an important part of the process. Like Cam said, his goals are coming to fruition now, and they might be life goals that you set down. But for
like probably more like dreams and aspirations that didn't have structure around them. But you're right. Like when you actually go, right, I really want this now. It's like you obviously you've got to believe that you can achieve the goals first of all. So that's why it's got to be realistic. They've got to be realistic goals. So there's something that maybe when I thought of those goals back when I was younger, I didn't believe that I could do it. But now it was just a dream. But now, so but
you met me.
Obviously, that helps. That helps. But I think bigger goals are interesting, but I think when you get to your micro goals or your quarterly goals, I agree. I think you need to really pinpoint and be really specific with those. Otherwise, they're open to procrastination.
I want to also say some of the members, when I speak to them about their goals and they say, I want to be a successful trader, it's like, wow, okay, nice big macro goal. Let's look at what that means. Let's look at what you need to achieve to get there. And that's where the micro goals come in. That's where, I need to study a couple of times a week. I need to regularly trade. And so we start setting that plan down. They're the actions that need to occur within the goals, because goals are just dreams without actions. So you have to take the time. It's not challenging, but if you don't take the time, that's evidence to show you that perhaps you don't think you're valuable enough or worthy enough to be successful in any area, like whether it's, relationships, as we said before, family, career, trading, finance, health. So it's, evidence of all these things show up. So if you're looking for success, then these are the simple ways to do it.
Yeah. And then obviously this is the did you go through that, Kel, the weekly goals?
Well, weekly, monthly. I mean, I think everyone gets it.
Yeah, I think,
but just putting down each of your weeks, looking at the action steps that need to take place, and then even ticking them off. I just tick them off. Go check.
And these are your templates, which somebody's asked where are these templates? They're in the members area. If you go through all the videos that we've done, they will be in there, and there should be a hyperlink to the
templates.
I think it's called Clear Out the Cobwebs. I think was the 90-day action plans, or I can't quite remember the topic, but I'll have a look. If we've got time at the end, I'll go into the members area and find them. But they're definitely there. And if they're not, just please email.
No, they are. John said they're definitely, all the templates are there.
Okay. So because that's the way we deliver a lot of information, is obviously through the members area. So even if you just click on the search function, you'll find them. So tonight, Kel, we're here, and tonight's webinar is really all about, what have we learned in this time that we're going through. So we're going to look at, dealing with pandemics. We're going to look for models for dealing with change, and a lot of these models have come from organizations and companies that have had to really have acted quickly to survive in the current scenario. Governments, for instance, have had to act quickly and act. So a lot of the models of behavior that even us as individuals, we can all go through the same process. There's very much an emotional roller coaster associated with dealing with change that's been brought on by this pandemic, which we had no idea it was coming.
And we are affected by organizations and companies. So it's all part of the process and intertwined. Yeah. So dealing with the pandemic, models for dealing with change. What have we learned over this time? What a wonderful opportunity. Importance of goals setting during a crisis, and ideas and focus on your micro goals, because it's key when things are changing and uncertain of what's going to occur next. Like, Victoria just did a big lockdown and for 6 weeks. So some of our people might be from Victoria. But we didn't expect that. So it's like, oh, wow, that might have a bearing on your goals. So we felt that it's important at this time to start really honing down on your own micro goals, because that's what you can control right now.
Correct. So this is a little model of change that Kel was doing a bit of research on, and this was this Kubler-Ross curve of managing change. And if you look at that, you can see here there's the morale or and the competence within a company, right? So when something happens that we've experienced, there's that level of shock and surprise, and obviously there's a level of denial that happens, that disbelief that it's going on, or this won't last. This is just just sort of fob it off. Because I remember when it first happened in our office, and it was
we're a bit in shock.
And I think I said to everyone, I said, guys, we may have to work from home. And everyone thought I was a bit crackers. But then it was right. We were spot on. Like, we went out and bought generators and stuff like that. We got a little bit, because we didn't know what was going to happen, right? So we were very proactive in how we were going to manage the situation.
Not in fear.
Not in fear.
We were prepared. And so as you go through this emotional roller coaster here, I'm sure many of you, if you broke it down, will relate to what occurred. It was like shock, because how many times in your life have you ever, or did you ever imagine, or you can remember, where the borders were shut, where banks, offered alleviation around your mortgage, where from a hospitality perspective, cafes
shut
and
down.
Restaurants and everything was proactive, were shut, and
gyms closed down,
even to a point where we were pretty much told that we had to stay home and line up for the supermarket. Like, when do you remember that? So that's where the shock and nearly denial comes into it, because like, is this really happening, as Cap said? And then frustration, where
that just comes out of being controlled.
Absolutely. Yeah. When you felt control,
massive
it's
control.
Like, it's okay for a while. It's like, what? I just want to go and have a cuppa in a cafe. I just want to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I don't want to be told when I can go to the supermarket. So when you start looking at aspects of that patterning, and brings up anger, and at that place, that's when often you can get into what you call a downward spiral. So you feel quite negative, you feel heavy, you feel fatigued, you don't feel very proactive, you don't necessarily get into action. What does this have to do with your goals? Has everything. At these points in times, it's easy to just throw the goals away and say, I just don't want to do it anymore. What's the use? So at that point, that's your low mood. That's, we're saying depression. We're not saying legal or medical depression. We're saying feeling depressed. Like inside you, your expression can't come out. So you're feeling like, wow, I haven't really met up with my friends, my family. I'm feeling depressed.
Lacking energy.
lacking energy. I've been locked inside potentially. So it's just looking at yourself and whether you've traveled this. Some people might not have, but pretty much nearly everyone I've talked to has traveled this.
Yeah. So then you come out and you think you start experimenting with things like
what to do in lockdown.
Differently. Yeah. Look at TikTok, like all this stuff. So things were starting to be different, and people had to adapt. And then there's obviously new decisions were made.
Well, we adapted, new decisions. We had to take out all our programs and company online.
Yeah.
And we still are.
Yeah. And then there's an integration of the changes, and obviously new people, new ways of doing things. It's actually, I don't know about you, Kel, but I feel quite renewed after this whole process. Like I feel like quite a different person. Like,
I feel that I've gotten back to my original goals. So I feel like it gave me the time. Life was so busy, full of information, borderline overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We run a lot of companies and look after a lot of people, and some in there somewhere, some of my goals were diluted. So it got me to a place, this situation kind of, was forced upon myself to say, slow down. Now, what do you really want?
Yeah.
And that's where I boost my motivation as well. And to say, well, this is what's happening. How can we make great? In any time of crisis, there's always opportunity, but you do have to have a plan to move forward. You have to stop. You have to, relook at your goals. You have to take the bigger goals down to micro goals, because the macro goals, it might be depressing and disappointing that you're not going to be able to reach those, but maybe you're going to reach other goals. So it is very, very important to stay on track and in routine and reassess your goals. And that's what tonight's about for us. We're about saying, this is what's been occurring. Let's go back to our goals. Let's look at what we were doing. Let's look at our trading. Let's know that this is important more than ever to be successful, but we've got some time. Let's just clear out the cobwebs here, clear out the mind, and start to boost our own motivation, develop new capabilities, and share our knowledge with others. It's the gift.
And I think the whole, like, if you look at that process from a functional, structural, like a business perspective, you can also see it from a personal perspective as well. Like, start aligning with your values, maximize communication with family, even though we can't maybe speak to them face to face. Using technology and getting motivated about learning new things, new technology, developing new capabilities. Like, for instance, I know, probably speak about Mary. Mary, who we know,
who works for us.
Yeah, Mary, who works for us. Just, she's become proficient on the Zoom platform now.
Whereas
before she'd be like bucking and screaming at using Zoom, and
she loves it now. She's integrated.
Yeah, so that's an example where people have been forced to develop new capabilities, but they're aligned.
And she's like over 70.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible for anybody. And once you learn some of these platforms and areas of change to support you, you won't look back, I can assure you.
So what can we learn? And this is where we can look at, obviously, how companies and how businesses have dealt with this time. But it's obviously has been a process of change management. So it's been a conscious, for instance, us as a business and an academy, we've had to be very conscious about the delivery of programs and the team and
train more trainers,
technology and all those sorts of things. So there's been that process that's gone on. So there's been a huge amount of change.
Can I just say, though, the change management we're talking about here, though, is for you personally. You're managing yourself. So what you're undergoing the change management. You're undergoing change with your families as well. If you're grandparents or your parents or whatever, wherever you find yourself, look at your own change management. What has automatically changed and occurred because of the situation? What do you need to take charge of now? And what do you need to make changes and integrate it yourself without stress or without life happening to you? If you're one of those people that's saying, I'll just wait for it to go back how it was. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. There's so many things that I feel are not going to, I mean, it'll never be the same again because we've never had this this creative pandemic
or generation
crisis before. However, when I say it's not going to go back, if it's so much as propelled forward now, we're forward. So for you to put yourself and undergo a microscopic aspect and say, what do I need to change now? And if you haven't, and you've been sitting and waiting, now's the time. So learning to push yourself and, you know, to be able to navigate through, because if you don't make the change, you're going to kind of just be in a middle area where you're not moving up or down.
Well,
you're just kind of like not moving, you know?
You look at examples of like even businesses that have transformed the way they do things, like cafes and restaurants, for instance. You know, those people that could transform themselves and adapt quickly are surviving really well. And those people that have maybe closed down and shut down, like that's now just open an opportunity for business to come in to you know, to almost take over or to really to make the most of those opportunities. Yeah, so that's interesting. So you do have to be flexible. You have to have that what we call a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset, and be really adaptable for anything that's going to happen.
And what that means is, if fixed mindset means if you have done it all the same way for a period of time and you're really locked in, maybe it's time to look outside that boundary and say, is there an area I could grow into? But if you're like, no, you're very much a no person, I'm going to do it this way. And if it's working for you, fabulous. But it's not working for you, that's the time where you've got to kind of be your own mirror and say, wow, I need to make some change. I'm not sure how to do it for some people, but I need to make some change. And that's why we're here, because those goals need to be refiltered, revised, reinvented. If you haven't even done any, let's reinvent them or discard it. You know, so the goals, you didn't meet the goals, you didn't write the goals, and that's all evidence to show you where you're at with yourself and goal setting. So look at the disruption as an accelerated time to achieving your new goals. Look at it from a trader's perspective, to quietening your mind, to going, wow, I'm not thinking, you know, going to the office and people and traffic and children and school and all that going on is so much exhaustion for the mind. So it's certainly given you time to quieten down. Even if you've gone back to the office, look at how you can do it more newly now.
Absolutely. So I guess the big question is, while we've been talking, is, you know, ask yourself, have you rethought your goals? You know, has there anything that's had to change because of what we've gone through? And, you know, this is a great time to take advantage of the new opportunities that are arising. And unfortunately, you may have been forced to make changes, but this is the time to act now. And you will find an incredible amount of energy when you do this. Things that you may have been procrastinating on, thinking about for a long time. It's like right now is the time to act. It's a golden age to move.
And the opportunity, guys, is abound. I mean, your trading was good, but it's gone to great through this time.
Yeah.
You know, so for everyone that maybe has even like lapsed or fallen off their trading, this is the time to get back on a micro level. You know, just show up, either listen to the LTR every day or go back through your education and reinstill it in your mind and start, you know, the brain just has to see something enough times to really get it.
Yeah.
There's no difference between you're smart and I'm stupid. It's the mind has to get it so many times. And it's what we need to do is alleviate ourselves with the blocks. If we can't get it and we feel like we can't get it, that's part of the stories that we tell ourselves so that we stay small.
Yeah.
And not, you know, not get to live our greatness.
And that's, we'll talk about that, Kel, more about the emotional side of things that we've experienced. So look, how have we all dealt with the major shifts in how we as individuals organizations, companies, and governments operate. You know, they're the things we need to look at. Like how have we dealt with it? You know, have we, you know, what's our emotion been throughout the whole time? What's our thinking been? Like how
are we fearful?
Yeah.
Are we in love? Are we okay with what's happening? I mean, we can't control it. We just need to accept it.
Yeah.
The key word, I think, is adapt. We need to adapt to a different time. And, you know, look at yourself. If you're in a career or a job and you're concerned that, you know, that the job might not be there in the near future, then it's time to probably look at your bridge to trading or what else you need to do in order to not have life come and just have you need to have life. You need to step up and be very deliberate about your decisions.
Be on the front foot, right?
Definitely. Well, that's what can we learn? You know, what you can learn is take action.
Yeah.
Look at your finances. If your finances are stressed and you look at your financial goals, then the first thing you need to be doing is looking at tightening up that budget and look at what you need to do to get to where you need to get to, because there is a time where the governments have been supporting many people financially and they have put a date of completion on that. So don't wait till that just shows up and happens. Have a plan, have some goals now. Look at what it is, you know, even in the most simple things. Some people say to me, we've just got no money. And by the time I go through everything that they've got, it's like, wow, you know, it's such an interesting block to think that you don't have much money. We don't actually need much money. Life's kind of simple. We do have things that need to be paid for, of course, but we need to take the action right now and not let, again, I'm going to say it, life happen to us. So if you've got to change travel plans and you're disappointed, you know, it is what it is. Look to travel around your hometown. Like, just change your mindset from fixed thinking, I'm disappointed we didn't get to go on that trip, to going, well, what can we do? What can we do? Can we do a local trip? Can we go out each day?
Yeah.
You know, do we have a bike? Go and buy a bike. Do a trip on a bike. Have a little travel plan like that. So it's like adapting so that you're not disappointed, so that you're still enjoying yourself and still having fun with the process of what's happening. So, you know,
and looking at how you've been dealing with those things. So I know, you know, it's been a lot stressful for a lot of people who've had to change their travel plans. You know,
absolutely.
Dealing with, you know, shipping companies or airlines. It's been
telephone, sitting on the phone for hours.
It's been quite stressful, but I think for, you know, it's setting those things as goals, like goals to achieve an outcome, and really put your intention on what your outcome is. They're the types of, like, turning that energy around from anger, frustration, disappointment,
blaming out.
Yeah. You know, just like giving up, to like, okay, so moving that up into, you know, excitement and what's next, and just having, you know, a really detailed process for those goals.
Well, otherwise you're going to end up anxious. More uncertainty, more anxiousness, and, you know, anxious and anxious behavior comes from being concerned about the future and not being able to control it.
We can't control it.
Yeah. So, you know, just asking yourself, what do I have to do? And if you're a procrastinator, or you say that you're a lazy person, or you're not very motivated, then we're talking to you tonight. We're talking to you. And if you have a story and excuse as to why you can't, or I'm tired, or, you know, there's that great show on TV, whatever it is, just give up a little of that in order to create this. Yeah. So again, Cam and I are going, what a wonderful opportunity to have a look at yourself, have a look at your own mind, listen deeply to your own language, you know, and communication, which is what we were talking about this week in a masterclass. It was about looking and listening to your own negativity, because negativity is energetic. And you see that by the picture there, if you're communicating with someone else, you're giving them particles of your thinking. And if you've found that you've been quite negative through this process, or you're getting there now, you know, people don't want to be around negative people. So it's like, well, how can you switch out of that? How can you say, okay, and I'm not saying that you're not acknowledging what's happened. And for some people, it's really knocked them for a sixer, you know, not having a job, not having enough money to pay for the house and mortgages or investment properties, whatever it may be. I'm not acknowledging that. I'm saying how you deal with it, how you get into action to make change. Momentum builds momentum is important. So how we do it, that's what we're talking about tonight. Getting into action has to create some other action, right? So when we're talking about particles of energy going between two parties, or just even sitting there densely with yourself in a negative mindset, you know, we're talking about shifting out of this, because your trading matters. If you take this type of thinking, no goal setting, feeling negative, not setting routine down into trading, it is going to affect your trading. It actually has made us even more diligent about our own planning and our own actions day by day. Whereas might have had like a weekly or a couple of weekly, fortnight goals, we're kind of like just down to micromanaging every day at the moment, because things are changing out there day by day. Yeah. And that's all we can control right now.
Yeah.
So
like how we've been dealing with the whole process is what a wonderful opportunity. Like that's been our whole theme to this. And you know, one of our mentors and dear friends of ours always says, how has this helped? You know, how's this helping?
Yeah, so if you hear yourself telling the story about what's happening or this is happening, she does say, how's it helped? She actually said today that thank goodness we taught her Zoom the last time at the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
She's using it all the time.
Yeah, she loves it. So it's a wonderful opportunity to experience the negative factors of change quickly. So for instance, really getting to feel the frustration, you know, feeling the anger, feeling the feelings of losing their job, you know, and processing that, learning, you know, being able to experience and feel for some people has been massive.
Yeah. Definitely getting down to that level of emotions that have been stored away.
Yeah, the stored emotion, right? So,
well, it's traumatic, right? So what's been created around the world is like, if you can imagine, a mass trauma.
Yeah.
And then we're all affected as people and particles of that trauma. And depending on how resilient we are, how well each one of us cope as humans anyway. And it's kind of pulled us, even though we're told to be apart, it's kind of pulled us together.
Yeah, it's a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what seems a bit crazy sometimes. So, you know, but it does affect, when you have trauma, it affects your thoughts deeply, because there's high highs, low lows. It affects your actions. Some people feel helpless and hopeless. Some people are resentful and angry. Some people are disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, so all these emotions arise, and it's important that we just look at it from afar and go, wow, that's interesting. I'm in a collective trauma. How have I coped? How have I dealt with it? How does it look to me? Was it an opportunity? How's it showing up in my trading? How's it showing up in my investments? And where am I now? Where am I today? And that's what this webinar is about tonight. So to view it from your filter, as you know, through your lens, as an opportunity. What opportunities are there do you see? It's time to come out of that trauma now and start to heal what's occurred, and start to make new change for yourself and others around you, because it's a loss. It's a loss of the way things were into the way things are now. Yeah. And if you can't deal, or you're not very good with dealing with loss, then that's what's going to come up for you too. So you just got to totally acknowledge it, and have a look now. If you haven't done a whole lot through this time out there and really thought a lot about the opportunity, take the time tonight, in the next 24 hours, even in this energy that we're sharing with you, to really review what you've learned, where you've come from, and what you're going to do about it next.
Well said, Cal. So, like, I think we look at this as it's been an opportunity for us to reevaluate what is important in your life, And one of those things is gratitude, just being thankful for being able to, rely on have a government that can actually support us
I know
in
that we live
in times
here.
of
Very
times of
fortunate.
disaster. Being thankful that we live in this beautiful country. That we've got beautiful
Being-
family and friends, and
Being grateful we actually bought a house a period of time ago that we were hardly ever in, that we got to enjoy this beautiful house.
Yeah, that's right. And just being grateful of our health, not being sick, not getting COVID, not having relatives that are dying, or those sorts of things.
Oh, totally.
Really thankful that we've had those experiences. And then the opportunity for transformation is I think what this has brought about for a lot of people. If you're open to the idea of it and wanting to make a change, if you are stressed out, overworked, you might have had some disease on setting, some
people might have been unwell through this time.
and well, even before leading up, you may have things weren't right for you, and this has been a wonderful opportunity. However, the whole, I think, self-reflection is what goal setting is all about. I think it gives you that opportunity to lay some new foundations, post COVID, and like Kel said, I think this is the great time in this energy to really set down some great goals for yourself. And like we're saying, focus on those little micro goals, things that you can control, that you can do regularly to build up a routine. And then also on that emotional level, it's also given us an opportunity to be empathetic, compassionate, connect with others, those types of feelings, concern about others' safety and their well-being. And COVID-19 has really broken down this illusion of certainty that we know that, everything's okay, and that, life will go on as is, and she'll be right, mate, that type of mentality, because it hasn't. It's really shaken things up. So we do live in uncertain times.
Yeah.
And even when we're trading the markets, those markets are completely uncertain. We don't know what's happening from one day to the next.
Well, that's why we're talking about how you cope.
So yeah, coping skills come from having energy. When you're energetic, you're fulfilled, you're balanced, you've got good health, you can cope with situations better.
Well, I'm going to break it down a little bit more. So I think what is important to remember is that whatever you're feeling is a thought, and your thoughts are ideas, and you can learn to manage and control them. Right? So the moment you get into fear, or you're feeling a bit concerned or anxious about something, your thoughts have gone into the future of something that potentially hasn't even happened. Or you've read something that didn't happen to you, it happened to someone or something else. So that's where you become anxious. And anxiety is a thought about loss of control. And so when I work with traders about loss in the markets,
losing
this
control.
is the experience that we're talking about right now. So what's this got to do with trading? Everything. So a thought is about loss of control. And right now it is probably something you're worried about, as I said, in the future that hasn't even happened yet, or something that might happen. So it's like taking charge of your thoughts and bringing it back to the present moment and saying, is this true? Is this true? And who would I be without this thought?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so fearful. Because if you don't do that, it can amplify the circumstance, and it can really explode for you. So into something that's not even a reality yet. So it's like, what is your reality? Is it true? Is it really true? And who would you be without that thought? So just even asking yourself that will bring you back to the present moment. So setting micro goals that are absolutely achievable day by day, week by week is imperative right now. And this will assist you in this anxiety, because this will allow you to have control over those circumstances. So when you're talking about day by day trading, because it's been a bit crazy at times, like how's the markets yesterday just shot up. We were both like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, what was that? Monday, wasn't it?
Was it
Monday on the open?
I can't remember the days. The open Monday open was just unbelievable. I mean, you know, if you're on the wrong side of that, you'd be like, oh no.
Yeah, and who would expect that the markets are booming
it's
in this time, right?
unbelievable.
So it's doing completely opposite what you think.
And the property market's booming at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, so just looking at your goals day by day, week by week, managing micro goals is key.
So the importance of goals during a crisis, right? It's likely that there's going to be lots of things. There's going to be competing priorities, like what do I do now? You know, there's going to be conflicting and what's the most important thing. And this can be an excuse to not do anything as well.
Of course.
You know, I got too much on, I can't do anything. I'll just
however, people do get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Too much is too much.
Yeah.
This is where you need to spend time, quiet time, not too much TV, not too much filling up with information, not too much internet, but slowing everything down, taking the time for quiet time.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, and this is what, you know, people say. It's like overwhelm is really comes from not processing emotions.
Definitely.
Properly.
And it stacks.
It builds up. So, you know, emotional processing is a big thing that I've learned about recently. And it's not, and this is what happens a lot in trading as well, that you hold on to those losing trades, and they think, you know, you put too much emphasis on that, and it just weighs and weighs and weighs, and it just builds up. Whereas, you know, you need to really be able to process emotions. And there's lots of great processes you can use to deal with those emotions. But obviously, first of all, it's just acknowledging how you're feeling and thinking is I think the number one thing to do. And then being able to, you know, let those emotions like flush out, like let them flow out, like before you even take another trade. For instance, like if you're upset about a trade, don't go back into the market if you're still upset. You've got to let that emotion flush out and flow out of you. So you got to burn that emotional energy out of your body.
Well, like that, the particles that you saw, the head-to-head before, if you're in a fearful state, disappointed, what I call a below the line emotional thinking state, which is everything that's not positive, you're going to project that straight into your trading, into the markets. And your mind is unclear because it has matter, lots of blocks of matter in it, that it's like, oh my gosh, you know, like a thinking spiral. I can't believe I lost. I can't believe I lost that much. I can't believe I was in that trade. Why did I do that? You know what I'm saying? So you're definitely not present to the next trade. I'm gonna jump back in. I'm gonna get it back and jump back in the market. So if there's anything when we took that's most important right now when we're talking about micro goals, probably micro trading too in this volatile market, unless you're a skilled trader that's used to trading consistently.
It's being very conscious of your behavior, but the behavior comes from emotional. It's more of an emotional.
Well, you're triggered.
It's an emotional problem that you're having rather than it's the behavior. But the behavior is what you see and you beat yourself up for, but you haven't processed the emotion yet. So that's really important. So goal setting has been shown to improve persistence in the face of obstacles. So we know it keeps you focused, keeps you conscious, keeps you present about what you want to achieve. And like Kel said, those micro goals when you're trading, like how to behave in the markets, you know, document that, you know, write down, you know, the correct behavior that you want to emulate, and be truthful to that. Keep your word on that.
And trade what you can manage, you know, not steer towards your gut. Oh, my gut said this. I mean, your gut intuition is important sometimes, but when you're trading in the markets, you really need to stick to what you do know and your own discipline and what you absolutely see. If you're going to go off gut instinct, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for people, because who knows emotionally where you are, whether you're at the height of your emotional roller coaster or at the bottom of it. So,
Yeah.
remember micro trading, micro managing. So
The
trade
detail.
what you can manage.
Absolutely. So we know that, goal setting is going to be super important now with the uncertain times. So we really encourage you to take the time for yourself, and do it as a service to your own well-being, to take the opportunity to really reflect on what you want to achieve. And then we come to one of our final slides, which is what we want you to focus on is the micro goals, or the little G's, the little goals.
Little G's. I'm on to little G's, Cam.
Little Jesus.
Well, this is what has worked for us as a company, but also individually. It's been one of our most successful times that we've had personally and in business for years. So the little G's have been awesome. It's like, what can I control? What can I control in my life? Which is going to have a filter down to what can I control in my trading. Yeah. So that's what the micro goals are about. So still creating, daily and weekly plans, but make your daily plans like just a little bit of a checklist. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is you wake up. And if you're going to wake up, get dressed and go to work, or wake up, get dressed and, get on the computer, whatever you need to do, wake up a little bit earlier. And I want you to just be present, even if it's in bed. I usually do it in bed because I like to visualize my day. I think about the most important things I need to do that day, what I have booked in that day, and what I'd like to create out of the day. So I visualize that in my thinking. Then it's up and writing it down straight away if it's not already written down. However, a little key here to people that perhaps don't sleep well, find that they're overstimulated, do a brain dump in a little thought book beside your bed before you go to sleep. The moment you allow your brain to let go of the thinking, because part of you goes, oh my God, there's my little G's down there. It's not lost. It's in a book. I'm going to set it beside my bed. And if you're a person that wakes up in the night because you're thinking, again, overstimulated, then just grab your book, write them down so then you can go back to sleep, because sleep is so important as a balance to our life, to our success, and to our trading, because we need our brain not strained. We need our brain ready to go on full steam, focus for that couple of hours while we are trading every day. So look at your little G's, do your visualization, then hop up, grab yourself a cuppa, go and sit somewhere, whether it be on the grass, outside, like outdoors is really important to write them down. So if you can, on a balcony, wherever it is, just go and breathe in some fresh air, get your body feeling stimulated. Positive ions, is really important to the process, especially because we have been talking about EMFs. We've been talking about electromagnetic fields, that because we're in front of the computers trading, we've chosen trading as our career heading into the future. So an important part of our process is that we protection, diffuse that as well. So, and we've been working, like, part of our Cam and my micro goals, or it was quite a macro goal actually, was being able to protect ourselves. So we just ran Immunity for the Community series, part 1 and part 2. If you weren't on there, go and watch it. It was awesome. But that was about, because we're in front of computers, multiple screens all the time, and we know that this is the way of the world in the future, for this period of time, at least a year or two anyway. So we're like, we have to protect ourselves. And my face was burning, my hands were tingling. So I was like, I'm just way too much in front of screens.
Radiation. Yeah,
radiation. So we went out seeking a frequency machine, a frequency system, which is just awesome. And that, I just cannot believe how amazing that is, and that's assisted us. Now, if we hadn't set that down as a goal and didn't go looking for it, then it wouldn't have showed up. We wouldn't have found it, and we would have still been fatigued about sitting online. But tonight we're both pretty pumped, and we've been on the computer all day, and we've done this is our 4th webinar, 4 days in a row. So what I'm saying is, guys, you need to get on, you need to get tools to help you, you need to get systems to support you. in these goals, because our goal for success is being present for you guys and teaching you through to being a successful trader and investor. We need, as your mentors, to be on. So we need to keep present to ourselves and our health to be able to reach that for you guys. That's a goal for us.
Yeah.
So it's like just looking where you're in flow, where you're not in flow, doing a bit of an audit on yourself after this session and saying, what do I need to do now? And if there's anything you need about what we've talked about tonight, whether it's some support on the micro goals, whether it's you can't find your goal setting templates, whether it's you're interested in the frequency system we're using for you know, to assist you, protect you, give you more energy,
build your energy,
whatever it is that you need to move through instead of being overwhelmed and not doing anything. That's why we say email us at info@idta.com.au. And for everyone that's been our members for a long time, you know that we will respond to you and we'll get you where you need to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think focus on those little routines. Like if you can get, take the time to do those little things, because those little things will fit into the bigger picture as well.
Yeah, totally.
And don't lose sight of what your bigger picture is for yourself. And guys, we are so blessed. We have a wonderful opportunity to be successful at trading, to be successful at anything we want to do. However, we do have to be very conscious of so many things, but our systems, how we operate, our emotional side of things, our mental state, it all works together. And it'll bring you wonderful energy, and with that energy you'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve. But without that energy, things are tough. Life can be a struggle. And then disease kicks in and degeneration, and you give up on life. But it shouldn't be like that. We are really we're so fortunate to,
like you said, we're
to
blessed,
be in the situation we are.
Live in an awesome country. I mean, look what we got. We were just asked again by Pete about the templates in the members area. But what we might do, Pete, is we will, I know where they are. So Pete, can you just drop your email into the chat, your email address? And after this, I have the original templates, so I'll flick them out to you. And we will go in and just check out the members area and just make sure that they're labeled appropriately. Cam's going to go and take you on a bit of a journey.
I'm just going into the members area now and just seeing where they are.
Okay.
Won't take long, guys. Just bear with us.
What I would highly recommend as well, when we're talking about the little G's and the routines, the successful routine for everyone is, your basics. Each of those aspects in your life cycle, your life wheel, if you can do something towards one of those areas of that pie chart every day. So if it's health, then, eat well, prepare your food, don't buy takeout.
Don't watch the news.
Yeah. If it's mind health,
be informed.
Mindset, don't watch the news, but be informed through your business and your trading media sites to give you the information of the day. Also, so health is important. Fitness is important. You don't have to go to the gym. Walk around the block, walk up and down your stairs 10 times, sit in front of the TV if you like watching your show, and do some sit-ups and just get a roller and roll out your back and stretch your body and do some mobility. So that could be for fitness. Every day I'm just talking about 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So if you're the sort of person that's a procrastinator, and often procrastinators say they don't have time, then this is for you. Remember I said do your visualization, set up your goals. That even feels awesome, guys. You feel great every day just by doing that. You feel like you've already on the road to manifesting them all just because you did the work.
And also too, if you do need, like Kel said, if you do need the support, if you are really struggling at this time, there could be an emotional problem. There could be a mental problem.
Block, yeah.
And the blocks. And Kel runs an awesome program called The Shift. And that is a super powerful program. And the work we've been doing leading up to the shift program this time around has been
Masterclass.
phenomenal. The master classes we're doing, we've created such an awesome little community in those classes, and people, you know, the other night,
very dedicated.
The other night we were on the webinar for 3.5 hours, you know, and there was so much
moving
value.
people through their blocks,
and
through what's going on for them.
And everyone learns so much from each other. And everyone's so open and willing to change and grow.
Well, that's why it's a great place, because, you know, there's that level of vulnerability right now. But the next shift, and we are running it in Queensland. So I know the Victorian borders are restricted right now, but I think that Australian will all be open and ready. So we're running that program in November. If anyone is, you know, finding it really challenging to break through some of the areas we're talking about, then you can join our masterclasses and look at Shift as a program in November this year. So
totally.
If you're interested in Shift, please email me and I can send you the information. So that's Kelly, Kelly.
I'll just put it in here.
Oh, there you go. Cam's so fast. He's onto it. So just email me direct, and what I can do is have a chat with you and see if it's for you and what you're looking at, or there's something better for you. And that's what we offer. I mean, we never like to lose any of our members to you know, who fall off the track because I don't think they don't think they're a great trader. You know, we can all have the awesome chance of trading. And as we said before, trading is rocking for the next 2 to 3 years, because it is one thing we know that we can have control over and that we've invested in ourselves. So let's do whatever we need to do to keep you on track. But again, trading, routine, look at your time. Look at that you're trading routine time every day, that you're giving yourself some time before you trade to have a look at what's happened in the world that day, what's going to move the markets. Look at your trading plan, set your desk up to be nice and clean, move everything off it, you know. So routine, do the same thing over and over again. That's where the success lays, not in more information, not because that's going to give you overwhelm.
Now I found the templates. So if you go into, and I'll just go back, there is a webinar library icon in the homepage. So if I go right back to the members home, and you go into the webinar library, this is where all the webinars are kept that we've done. So the full webinar library. So there's a lot of content in here. There was the goal setting webinar 2, part 2. But if you go to the next one,
there's immunity for the community too back there.
Yeah, the immunity for community are in there. Where are we? There we go. That one there. So if you just click on that, and then up the top there, you've got download your 30 and 90-day action plan there. Now, Evelyn's got a question too, which was when Lockie was doing the financial goal setting for you trading, starting with a 3,000 account and having a $2,000 step up point, that refers to contracts. So you would start with one contract with a 3,000 account, and then when you gradually build that account up to $5,000, so you've almost doubled it, but you've increased it by $2,000, then you've got the right to step up to 2 contracts. You know, as long as you stay within your risk profile, that's sort of how Lockie runs that system. So that's what a step up means. It's every 2,000 extra increase a contract. Now, some people might want 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 a step up point. It'll really come down to your risk appetite. Brilliant. And your risk profile.
I just wanted to make sure that Pete got that link, so and can find that, so that you don't need me to send you the original templates that there, Pete.
Yeah. So
yes, I did. Great. Thank you.
So if you click on that, that'll just download into your downloads folder on your computer, and you can just save them and go from there. So.
And I trust that you guys saw maximum value out of tonight, and that and we love your feedback. I'd love to hear that you got value and what the value was for you. You know, was there any aha moments? Did you go, oh wow, what you said about this or that, you know, really resonated with me and I got it. So we run these series for you guys to keep you on track and to keep you accountable. So we had a huge show up tonight. So congratulations to you guys for taking the time and spending the time with us to go through and see what you're to do now, what your next step is. So thank you for having us.
Because your growth and support is such a ripple effect as well. So when you do the work and do the goal setting and spread the word, everyone gets it. You know, everyone around you gets it. It's quite profound.
And there's a awesome quote: the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. So that's where we want you to be. And this is one of our favorites.
And this is, don't wish life was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges, wish for more wisdom. The major value in life is not what you get, it's who you become. And success is not pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you have become. So when you become that person you want to be, you know, the energy that you have is what attracts everything you want: the abundance, the wealth, the health, the skills, the friends, the family, the relationship. All those things come from you, and you vibrating at such a high level that you attract that into your life.
Well, we're lighthouses, right? We're all beaming out light, even if it's a bit dull and you've forgotten your light, guys. You all have the light.
Yeah.
And the reason why we're saying that is when you feel great about yourself, then it will reflect in your trading. And we know this because we're the true essence and that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
So our gifts and knowledge and wisdom handed over to you tonight. As I said, I'm sure you learned something. I trust you did learn something. Again, there's some details there. If you need some support, please let us know, and we look forward to seeing you. I mean, next week we're running webinars every week at the moment. What we do have is a workshop on Saturday week,
July 18.
Yeah, and also we will see you in the next goal setting in 90 days from here. So look forward to sharing more information.
Bye.
See
you soon.